World's Greatest Magic revealed, where they had the masked magician and they'd
Yeah,
show
yeah.
you how those things. Or is that do you
You know,
think
the
that's a
funny
hindrance towards magic, or do you think
No,
that
not
actually
at all.
encourages?
Not at all. Here's why I can make and easily explain that. The Masked Magician was popular in the 90s. It had a resurgence in the 2000s for a bit, but then, whatever. Now it's just the same thing happens on TikTok and Instagram all the time and
Hmm.
YouTube. And it's just guys revealing tricks and they're getting views because it's clever and then it's funny because their attitude towards it is like, here's the trick, it's amazing, and then look how stupid this trick is. And that's the attitude of everybody on these channels. And some of the channels have a lot of subscribers and they probably, monetize it and
To
whatever.
be fair to these TikTokers too, Penn kind of had. I know we're talking about Penn and Teller a lot, but Penn kind of has the same attitude. I remember him on a talk show. He was doing a trick with Rebel Wilson, and he goes, "You're not stupid. The trick itself is stupid." And
Yeah.
he does like this rope routine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Clearly
yeah.
the audience can see what's happening, but Rebel
Right.
has no idea what's going on.
Right, 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 right.
So the
Right.
attitude, just to clarify, your attitude was isn't this trick is so stupid, so I'm going to show you how it's done. It's
Well, I would say that a lot of the TikTokers that are revealing tricks have the attitude of this is stupid. And yeah, the trick is stupid. This is a dumb thing. And kind of doing the opposite of what I said that Penn and Teller are doing, which is hey, let's respect these art forms and these tricks. And the only reason why those people are clever is because they didn't come up with the trick. They bought the trick and then they're going, "Oh yeah, this is dumb now." It's like, yeah, but the people exposing all the magic aren't clever enough to come up with their own trick. They're just not smart enough to do it. So they whatever. So the point is this. The people who would watch The Masked Magician, the people who watch the magic trick exposed are the same people who want to watch magic.
yeah.
So the same people that would watch Masked Magician in the 90s are, and go, "Oh my gosh, I love this," are also buying tickets to see a magic show at a casino like me. The same people on TikTok watching these guys expose magic tricks on TikTok are also, when I come across going, "Hey, I got a new trick," they're watching my video
Hmm.
doing a magic trick. So they're actually fans of magic. Now, is it wrong to expose somebody's work and say like, "Hey, and give it away?" I think so. I think it's just kind of rude, but it comes with the territory, that happens to everybody.
Mm.
Um, but the point is that also a lot of the people who watch those shows, because there's no substance there on the Masked Magician and the TikTokers exposing, there's no substance. There's no like real, whoa, it's just eye candy. It's no different than watching, those 5-minute crafts of it's like, oh, look, I'm gonna, glue gun this, thing, and then I'm gonna put ribbon around it. And then now look, here's a handy way to make your own coat hanger out of rubber bands. And you're like, wait, what? And it's
Yeah.
like, I'm never gonna remember that. It was entertaining and eye candy for the 20 seconds. Um, but the point is this, is that if you ask anybody who watched The Masked Magician in the 90s, or you asked people, "Hey, what's this trick on TikTok?" They're going to go, "Oh, well, this magic trick." So, okay, so they had this thing, and then the magician, was this thing that came from behind, and then, oh, and then he had his behind his hand, there was this other thing that came down and whatever. They have no idea what they're saying. Okay. They have no idea. They don't understand. And then also the other point is that they understand one trick and how it's done. They don't have an understanding of the um, philosophy or the actual principle of the trick.
Hmm.
So that same trick, that same deception in a new premise and a new plot will fool them because the they don't know the principle of the deception. They
Right.
just saw, oh, here's how the deceptions work in this stupid trick. So they know this trick. And if it's a stupid trick, well, guess what? Guys like me and professional magicians aren't doing it. So it doesn't really hurt magic. And I would stand by that. The masked magician doesn't really hurt magic.
Yeah.
Exposure doesn't really hurt magic.
And I mean, this won't sound like a compliment, but it is a compliment to you. I've seen your show a lot, right?
Yeah.
There are some tricks where I'm sitting there going, okay, I know how this is done,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
But I'm still amazed by it personally, just because of how good of a showman you are. Um,
Yeah,
A
thank you.
classic example of this, and I won't reveal anything, but a classic example of this is the light bulb.
Mm,
I know how that's done.
yeah,
Confirmed by Sophia. And she asked me, well, how did you figure it out? I go, I've seen this show for over X amount of years.
10 years, yeah.
You know, yeah, it got obvious, but with the music and how it's done, and the fact that it's a light bulb and it messes with your eyes a little bit,
Yeah.
that's a little. There's your clue, people, of how the trick is
Yeah, no, well, no,
done.
what it is that there's a rule in magic. There's a rule in magic that you don't do the same trick twice.
Hmm.
And the reason why is because you lose the element of surprise. And then people now it becomes this game. Now, there are certain tricks that you can play the game with where you go, okay, try and figure this out. And what you do is you lead them down a path of deception. So you kind of go, oh, you think it's this way. And then I make a right turn and you're like, wait, you're trying to catch up. So if I'm leading you, you're always trying to catch up. So there are games in Magic that have a game like try and figure out puzzle type tricks.
Hmm.
The light bulb is something that is visual that, after watching it for, a number of times, the first time you see it, you go, what the heck?
What?
That was
Yeah.
amazing. I have no idea. And the second time you kind of go, oh, that's
uh,
so good. I don't understand it. The third time you kind of go, okay, wait. Okay. Fourth time. And so there's this build but again, you have to see it. How many times have you seen it? A dozen at least. At
yeah,
least
yeah.
you have to go to see my show, buy a ticket to see my show 6 times. And by then, if you're buying a show ticket to see my show 6 times before you kind of catch on to anything, what you're a fan of magic, you're a fan of me, you appreciate what's going on, and it's not about that. And so
Right.
I took the light bulb out once, and people got mad at the meet and greet. I had people like you who saw my show, and they go, you didn't do the light bulb. And I was like, yeah. And they go, yeah. I told my friend, I brought my friend because I told him like the whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to see this light bulb thing. You got to see this light bulb thing. And I brought him to the show and then you didn't do it. And I was like, well, I changed the show. I want to mix it up. And I did this thing that was new. They're like, yeah, but you didn't do the light bulb.
All
You
right,
didn't.
fine. Come into the auditorium. We'll do the light bulb trick real quick, and
Yeah,
then we
yeah.
gotta
So anyhow, so now I have like signature pieces and classics that I have to do every show because if I don't, in fact, this last tour that I did, um, I opened the show with it and I said, all right, this is year 14 here at this theater, right? Year 14, we're ready to go. We're going to start. This next illusion uses only two things. And then I had people in the audience go, a light bulb. And I was like, these are
Yeah,
like fans and they know, and it becomes this thing. So
it's become your free bird.
yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's really fun. But yeah, I mean, magic to me is fascinating and I love that people like it. And then also to answer that last part of the question is people now come to me as opposed to saying, because of the popularity of Fool Us, as opposed to coming to me and saying, hey, Alex, I saw this masked magician and it's done this way and it's done that way. Now it's like they'll go, okay, so you fooled Penn and Teller. And I go, yeah. And they go, can I guess? I'm like, you want to play the game? And they go, okay. I go, you get one guess. Anything that I do, you have one guess. And then they'll go, okay. And then they'll try and say something like, well, is it da 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 da? And I go, you owe me a trophy. And they go, ah. And it really actually helps, the conversation because then I've had people where I go, do you want to play the game? And they're like, okay, I go, you get one guess. That's the game. That's the game. You're a fan of the TV
Yep.
show? No. And they go, okay. I go, one guess. What is it? And they go, forget, man. I don't know. And so it's really fun.